In the first video in this series, we talked about the basics of attachment theory and how you develop the style you have. Now we're going to talk about the myth of codependency and why allowing yourself to be dependent on your partner actually makes you more independent. And if you've ever been told you're too needy or clingy or ever known anyone like that, make sure you stick around until the end of the video where you'll see that isn't necessarily true and how you can stop feeling that way. In many cultures around the world, and especially in the United States of America, we value independence above all else. We have this idea that happiness should come from within and shouldn't depend on your partner, that you should be looking out for yourself. You hear this advice from friends, television, and even so-called experts. The ideal relationship, according to these people, is when two mature, self-sufficient people enjoy life together while maintaining clear boundaries. They tell you you need to work on yourself if you discover you have a strong dependency on your partner. Well, I'm here to tell you this is total nonsense. Codependency is a real thing, and it is useful when used as it was originally intended, for dealing with family members suffering from substance abuse, but it is not useful for all relationships. In reality, we are dependent on our partners, biologically dependent. Once we form an attachment, they influence many parts of our physiology. They regulate our breathing, our heart rate, our blood pressure, and our hormone levels. Dependency is not a choice or a preference, it's inevitable. Deep down, you know this to be true. Even if you're a fierce advocate of independence and disagree with everything I've said so far, you likely know countless examples of so-called independent people that found themselves far more attached than they wish to be. Why is it that so many people, even the most independent among us, are sad when a good relationship ends? It's because we were never designed to be completely independent. As we talked about in the last video, having someone to watch our back makes us stronger. The director of the Affective Neuroscience Laboratory at the University of Virginia conducted an experiment where they told women they were about to receive a very mild electric shock. The women who were alone while awaiting the shock had their hypothalamus light up. Women holding the hand of a stranger had somewhat reduced activity in their hypothalamus, while women holding their husband's hand had a much more dramatic dip. Their stress was barely detectable. Not only that, the women who reported the highest degree of marital satisfaction experienced the least amount of stress activity in the brain. To put it simply, it's unreasonable to expect people to maintain such a high level of differentiation between ourselves when our biology is so strongly influenced by our partners. And not only is it unreasonable, I don't even think it's healthy. Now, some people will argue with this. They'll tell you that dependency is weakness and they don't want to have to go through life relying on someone else. But is dependency really a weakness? When you think of some of the most powerful people in the world, they all rely on someone. Navy SEALs work as a team. A Marine sniper has his spotter. World leaders have an entire cabinet of people they rely on and a chief of staff they count on for everything. Practically no one is truly independent, and just like it's a myth to say that a strong, healthy attachment to your partner is a form of codependent weakness, it's also a myth to say that dependency on others makes you weaker. The reality is dependency makes you stronger. Now, some of you are saying, that's nonsense. There's no way that dependency on others makes us stronger. Which brings us to the dependency paradox. The dependency paradox states that the more a person is able to trust and depend on their partner, the more independent they're able to become. Dependency actually creates independence. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but no matter how independent we are, and no matter what we consciously want to have happen, new behavior patterns always develop when we choose a new partner, and dependency always exists. Humans evolved a strong survival advantage when they allowed their physiology to be influenced by one another. When one partner is feeling upset, the other partner feels it as well and wants to soothe it. The interesting thing is, the more you embrace this, the more willing you are to be dependent on your partner, and the more willing they are to let you be dependent on them, the stronger and more independent you become. When you know there's someone in the world, other than yourself, that you can count on in any situation, you become stronger, more adventurous, and less afraid of taking risks. The road to happiness and independence is most effectively traveled when you find a partner to travel that road with you. You see this all the time with young children. When the mother's around, they're willing to travel further and take more risks. But when the mother leaves, they don't feel as safe, and so they're not willing to travel as far, and sometimes they even become so upset that they don't do much of anything until the mother returns. The independence and adventurousness we see in small children is often influenced by what we call a secure base. The mere knowledge that their mother is there to help them if they need it makes them willing to take far more risks and behave far more independently. We see the same pattern in adults. Adults with a secure romantic partner feel free to take risks, be creative, and pursue their dreams. When the relationship lacks security because we're unsure our partner is really there for us and believes in us, we find it difficult to focus and engage in life. Having someone to reassure us when times are tough is incredibly important in allowing us to face life's challenges. Research shows that when we feel our goals are supported by our partners, we have more self-esteem and we believe we're more likely to achieve our goals. Not only does a good relationship partner improve our self-esteem, they also improve our health. In a study of people who have a mild form of high blood pressure, being in the presence of a good relationship partner lowered their blood pressure, while being in the presence of an unhealthy relationship partner raised their blood pressure. Having a partner that meets your attachment needs is good for your health, while having a partner that leaves those needs unmet is harmful to your health. Our partners influence how we feel about ourselves, the degree to which we believe in ourselves, and whether or not we'll attempt to pursue our hopes and dreams. Partners that fulfill our attachment needs help us live longer while remaining emotionally and physically healthier. A partner that doesn't fulfill our attachment needs can cripple our self-esteem and creativity and damage our health. Being aware of this makes it clear that not only is it important to get out of bad relationships, but one of the secrets to a happy life is having someone you can count on. You see this all the time when some rich and successful person is interviewed and says he never could have done it without his wife. She was always there for him and supported him whenever he needed it. That isn't just some nonsense he's saying to keep his wife happy. It really is true. The reason why he comes across as so independent and confident is because he had someone mentally and emotionally supporting him at every turn. His independence is a side effect of his dependence on his wife. I want you to use this knowledge to empower yourself. If you're one of those people who feels that it's a weakness to need someone else, or you've been called needy or clingy in the past because of your need for a partner, I want you to realize the problem isn't your need for someone else, but rather that you simply haven't found the right partner yet. Good partners are there for you and don't make you feel bad for needing them. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Now that you know the basics of attachment theory from the last video, and you realize that it's healthy to form strong attachments, we'll move on to the third video in this series where we'll talk about how to identify what your attachment style is, as well as the attachment style of the people you encounter. So keep watching.